Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of May 8th, 2023. I'm Nicole Erdix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Every week we chat about what parents are talking, complaining, and obsessing about right now. This week we're complaining about people disliking children and obsessing about Chat GPT. Even more gasps. We are also taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. And today we are going to catch you up on all that's gone on in our lives the last few weeks. So much, in case you're interested.
Yeah, so we're a little rusty here because we took a week off last week.
That's right.
So much going on in all our lives. We had to just
shut up. So do you want to talk about your...
Yeah, well, I was nominally the reason we took last week off because you all thought that I should take some time off after surgery. I was working the next night.
Of course you were.
I had a parathyroidectomy, which sounds dramatic. And it is a surgery to remove one or more parathyroid glands. Now, I was not aware that I had a problem with my parathyroid glands. I had osteoporosis, but I'm a short old lady, not uncommon. But they found a high level of calcium in my blood, and that got everybody going, oh my gosh. And I went to an endocrinologist, and she tested and found that my parathyroid hormone was very high. And then she says, here, go take all these scans and see what's going on there. So I did an ultrasound, which found nothing. I did something where they injected radiation into my veins and then put a big flat item extremely close to my nose while I was laying down. Freaked me out a little bit. That found nothing. Did another test. That kind of found something. So she sent me to a surgeon, and he did another test. And that ultrasound guy was really sure he had found it. And then the surgeon looked at the stuff and went, we'll open you up and look around. So I was scheduled for this surgery. And I'm pretty sure that his scheduler told me that it was a same-day surgery in a hospital. I would only stay there 23 hours. I had to be out before 24 hours because then they would charge my insurance for a day, and we wanted to avoid that. So I was figuring, okay, I'm going to have this surgery, and then I'm going to be in the hospital for hours and hours and hours. I'm probably going to stay overnight because, if it's 23 hours, it's probably going to involve an overnight. And I'm going to have people taking care of me. Am I going to like that? I've never been in a hospital before. I've never had surgery before. I had all this anxiety about it. Anesthesia. I was going to have a breathing tube. It seemed like a big deal. You look on it online and everything about it says, it's nothing. And I'm like, but, anesthesia, breathing tube, 23 hours. It's a hospital thing. So I got a call from the hospital the Friday before, and they said that the surgery was going to be 8:30 and that I should come in at 5:30 a.m. And so my husband and I did, and we registered, and they told us to go to this area, which is where you would wait for the inpatient surgery. And we went up to that desk, and I said my surgery was at 8:30, and the guy, this very officious guy, he was like a character from a sitcom, he says, well, that's not what I see here, but maybe they moved you up. So we waited, we looked at this thing on the board, and it looked like that my doctor had a surgery at 7:30 and a surgery at 11, which was me, my patient number, and nobody at 8:30. So it's like, well, number one, why am I not that person at 8:30? And if I'm not, why was I here at 5:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of sitting around. We're doing a lot of waiting. It's, okay, whatever, I guess. But all of a sudden, they brought me back. They started giving me instructions. I have to clean my body off with these pads, special, I don't know. I guess I looked germy. And, and then all of a sudden they're starting to put IVs in me. And then a guy comes in to inject some radioactive dye in me. And he's all upset because the IV's not in yet. And the nurse is like, they just sent her in here. So apparently I had been suddenly moved up. Somebody was saying like, oh, somebody didn't show up for their surgery, so they're moving you up. But that was my time in the first place. Anyway, so scrambling, much activity, everybody getting me ready. My husband had to finally go to the bathroom, and of course that's when they swooped me out of the room I was in, down to the surgery room, put me on a surgery table. 5,000 people are doing things to me all at the same time. I don't know if you guys have had a surgery experience, but it was like all of a sudden I was in an episode of ER. But, they're putting things on my feet. They're putting things on my arms. They're putting things on my head. They give me this thing, breathe this. It's oxygen, but I don't think it was oxygen because pretty soon I was not aware of what was going on. I was just starting to think, I'm going to get a little claustrophobia from all these people doing stuff all over me. I think I'm going to panic. I think I should panic. Should I panic? And then I was like, and then I felt something go into my body and it made me cough and then I was out. So they must have just said, just inject her with something.
Right.
So, and then I woke up and it was over and they gave me some ice chips and I was able to talk. I had been worried I wouldn't be able to talk. And they just sort of looked me over. My surgeon poked his head in and said, oh, it was good. They took out a gland and, it looked to be the thing that was causing the problems. And my blood level of the hormone went down and, you can go home. I'm like, wait a minute. This has been 23 hours. Oh, no, we never keep people for 23 hours. So I don't know if I misunderstood, if it won't be more than 23 hours. But I was home by 1 o'clock. So it was very weird. They sent my husband out to get the car, and then they looked for somebody to take me down to the front door in a wheelchair and dragooned somebody whose job it was not, but she kindly pushed me to the door. And it's like, was it something I said? Did you guys want to get rid of me? Do you need the beds? Did my insurance call and say, get her out of there now?
Are you mad at me?
It just seemed so abrupt. It's like, I used the germ removal pads, I promise.
Wow.
So it was just an odd, I had been prepared for this long, not days, but hours of hospital idle time, and instead I was just booted out at the earliest possible opportunity.
It's like when I took my son for his wisdom teeth, and I prepared to be sitting in the waiting room for a couple of hours at minimum. I brought my laptop. I was like, I'm going to get this and this and this and this done. No, it was over in like 45 minutes. I'm like, I'm just getting warmed up.
I don't want to leave yet.
I mean, it's kind of amazing that they can do these things and ship you out immediately after and everything's fine. I mean, I've been fine. There was no repercussions of me leaving early.
Mm-hmm. This is why when my daughter got her appendix out, and it was somewhat of an emergency, right? Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of previous discussion of what was going to happen. But basically when she was going in, I asked the doctor how long we would be in the hospital. And she's like, 5 to 6 days. Oh, and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you had a surgery and you were out of there.
Yeah.
People have open heart surgery and they send them home. And yet for an appendix, she was going to be in there for 5 days, and she was.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, I mean, when my son had a ruptured ulcer and had emergency surgery for it, he was in about 5 or 6 days too.
Right. And maybe it's just the emergency part.
Maybe it's the emergency part, or maybe it's if there's stuff, I don't know, for appendix burst, or it was just...
It did.
It did, yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe if there's just random stuff in the abdominal cavity, they need to watch for a while.
Yes.
But it was, I mean, I'd rather recuperate at home. That's fine. But thought I was going to get a little extra medical care.
Wow.
Right.
So anyway, it went very well. Apparently the surgeon did what he came for. And I have this incision in my neck that has something called, I think, a steri-strip over it, which should fall off, depending on which website you look at, anywhere between, 5 and 15 days. So it's like,
wow.
There's some that say, if it's not off in a week, you better take it off or some bad things are going to happen. And then there's others that said, eventually it'll come off. Don't worry about it, which is what my surgeon's nurse said the third or fourth time I was asking her questions. right before she said, "You have an appointment. Please shut up until then." But she said it in a nice way. Anyway, so I still have that sticking to it, but I can get it wet, and I just kind of am going about my business, doing things. I was supposed to be a lector at church the Saturday after the surgery, and I thought, I'm not going to, I might not even have a voice. I'm not, they say sometimes the breathing tube messes up your voice or the surgery does. And so I agreed to swap with somebody, and then that person forgot, and she did it the day I had swapped her for. So I said, well, maybe this is just God's way of telling me my voice is going to be okay. And it was. I went up, 5 days after surgery, I'm up reading the Bible in church. So,
wow.
Medical miracles, They just cut you open, cut out pieces of your body, sew you back up, and send you on your way.
Send you on your way.
Life goes on.
And how did it go with your family dealing with?
Well, I think it was kind of anticlimactic because we'd been figuring, okay, Mom's going to be overnight in the hospital, or was my husband going to stay with me, and then were the kids going to have to make their own dinner, and then when I came home, it was going to be this big deal and all this stuff, and instead I was like home by lunchtime, so it's like, oh, okay. You seem fine. Life goes on as it was, I guess.
Wow.
Everybody's, once I was home and still myself. I think everybody was over it.
So there are no flowers adorning the room and welcome home.
No, there was no time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very anticlimactic. So I probably could have recorded a podcast. But anyway, for real, I am very grateful that it went well and it went easily and that there is nothing really to complain about. I have to make things up. But I'm very grateful to to my surgeon, Dr. Bryant Lee, who I've mentioned before, in Livingston, New Jersey, and the hospital that I went to, the Cooperman Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey. And they took very good care of me. Everybody I had there was super pleasant and professional. Even the kind of officious guy, he was nice. And they did their jobs, and when their job was done, they said so long, and they right to the door.
Sent you home.
Turned you out onto the street.
They weren't milking me for bed rent, so which I guess is good. I guess it's the way it should be. I would hope that if there was something really wrong, they would not have kicked me out the door.
Yes.
Just go to the ER near you, honey. It's fine. So while I was distracted by all of that medical nonsense, what was going on with you guys?
Nicole had a big day.
I did.
Yes, she did. Ooh.
Yes, I did. I became an American citizen. So
she's one of us now.
I am.
She's going to start being rude and outspoken anytime. All that Canadian niceness is going to drain away.
That's so funny. That's what I said to my husband. I said, now I get to be rude.
Pick a fight on social media, Nicole.
I know. Now I can say all those things that I've wanted to say the past few years on social media. No.
Stop saying sorry. We Americans don't say sorry.
Yeah. So that was a big event. It was quite a milestone.
That is exciting. Welcome.
Thank you. That.
So, are you a dual citizen, or did you?
Oh yeah.
Cut
No.
Your ties to.
Oh heck no.
Okay.
Well, according to America doesn't recognize any other citizenship. So according to America, okay. I'm only an American. But Canada does recognize other citizenship. So in Canada, I'm a dual citizen.
Kind of two-timing America is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, pretty much.
America has made a commitment, and you're just still seeing someone else on the side. You're still your boyfriend on the side. All right, I got you.
Just in case. Yeah. Got to keep it in your back pocket.
Exactly. I got to have plan B.
Right.
Yeah, it was quite a momentous occasion because this whole immigration process took 15 years. So from start to finish, and
and was the test hard?
The test, I had studied, so it was not hard, but had I not studied, I would have failed miserably. But I had to study 100 questions. They asked me 10.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And I had to do all kinds of raising my hand and swearing to tell the truth. And I had to give them, all, it's just, this is all stuff that's happened along the way anyway. So, but it was quite an occasion. And then they sent me down to the oath-taking ceremony room. So that was kind of a big deal because we were, there was myself and probably about 40 other people. And we took the oath of allegiance, and then I got a little flag, and that was it. So yeah, it was, I had envisioned something completely different, and it didn't really, that was kind of like, oh, okay, this is it. Much like you, Terry.
Yeah.
This is it.
The theme of this episode is like a big thing that
wasn't.
Turns out to be not so big.
Exactly. But no, it was definitely a big event and something that I'm glad that I did. So, and I'm grateful that America has accepted me.
Took you in.
Exactly. So, yeah. Now I can, so 3 of us are done. We're waiting for my husband to get his. And then we will be fully transformed as a family. Yeah, but
very exciting.
It is. Thank you.
Is his in process?
It is, yes. That's what it tells us on the website. Actually, mine, we applied the exact same minute, and mine online said it would take 16 months to complete. It took 5, which is almost unheard of. And my husband's said it would take 12 months, and he's still waiting for word on his. But he has a much more complicated file than I do because he's traveled
so basically
so much.
What we're learning is all estimates of timing are just
don't even pay attention.
Completely made up.
Don't pay attention to them. So but it's definitely not for the faint of heart if you're thinking of immigrating to another country, and especially America. And, it's a lot of time, a lot of patience, lots of hurdles. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm finally done with that. So yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I saw that picture with your certificate, which my kids have ones that look just like that. With their little tiny kitty photos. They fortunately did not have to take a test.
Had I been...
Can you imagine? poor little babies.
I don't think they could pass.
Do you know who the first president was?
Had I been 2 years older, I wouldn't have had to take the test either. I guess they figure once you're past 55, you're not a test taker. I don't know. You're too old.
That alone would be reason to wait.
Right?
Right.
But no, it's a very, very complicated and emotionally draining process, so I was happy to get it out of the way. That's my story, my immigration story.
Yeah.
Yay.
Cool. So what turns out it's not such a big deal kind of story do you have to tell, Catherine?
Well,
I thought it would be hard paying for my kids' college, but in fact...
Right. I mean, I thought it would be hard dealing with the college application process, and it was. So, but it did finally come to an end, and my son was admitted to a school that he wants to go to, and we paid them some money, so that's happening.
Yeah. Good.
Wait, is this the one, the one near you? Is that the final decision?
In a town about a little over a 2-hour drive from here.
Right.
So it's close, but not too close. Yeah. Which is nice. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's looking forward to it. He's, asking for t-shirts and that kind of thing. He's starting a collection of merch. And he's working, he's joined the Facebook group for incoming students, which they use to look for roommates. And he's in the process of doing that. In fact, going to meet a prospective roommate in a few days. So it seems to be plugging along.
It's happening.
And since I have talked, complained, and obsessed about this over the past many months, I figured, the listeners might need an update on how it all went.
Well, congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
Now all he has to do is graduate high school.
That's right.
Piece of cake.
Right. No problem. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there you have it.
Lots of big
exciting
things.
news from everyone.
Yes.
Then we should wrap this up for today.
It only felt like they cut your neck open to bleed the money out. It's not really what happened.
That's right. And there was some studying involved, but not as much. So, but anyway, that's the news, and that's it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round 2, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.